Alrighty, guys, we're back for Toxic Fangs, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have all four. Fynn the Fangbearer, a 2-mana, 1/3 legendary creature with Deathtouch. Whenever a creature you control with Deathtouch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. Nice. We're going to be pairing that with Ankle Biter. It's just a 1-mana 1/1 with Deathtouch, and that's all it needs to be. We do have other ways to give Deathtouch to our other creatures with a 1-of Horrid Vigor. It's a 2-mana instant speed. Target creature gains Deathtouch and indestructible until end of turn. I think it'll come in handy. It acts as protection for vital creatures like Rotpriest, for example. All 4 of those packed in, of course. 1-mana 1/2 with Toxic 1. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. As we know, this is a very powerful card in the right build. We have other ways to actually protect these essential creatures. All 4 Tyvar stand ought to be able to do the thing. We actually are rocking all 4 dive downs in here too. This is a 1 blue mana, instant speed. Target creature you control gets a +0/+3 and gains hexproof until end of turn. So we're kind of using dive down in here as a combat trick of sorts, right? Because if we wanted other ways outside of Tyvar stand to give indestructible to our Deathtouch creatures, they're going to cost 2 mana instead of 1. So we're kind of treating dive down as another way to kind of sort of give indestructible, but not really indestructible, right? And then also dive down could potentially help us get around very specific board wipes like Brotherhood's End style abilities too. So yeah, we'll see. What else do we got packed in, guys? Well, we got some bite spells with hard-hitting question, being able to hit creatures or planeswalkers. Of course, these bite abilities really work well with Deathtouch creatures. We have Infectious Bite in here, too, as a 4-of. I think that'll do the thing nicely. Oh, Combat Research making the cut as a 2-of should pair beautifully with our legendary creatures between Fynn and Ivy here. Ivy, Gleeful Spellthief, only making the cut as a 2-of this time. I think when we see it, it'll be pretty darn good. And when we don't see it, I think we'll be fine. So 2-mana 1/2 with flying. It is a legendary creature. And whenever a player casts a spell that targets only a single creature other than Ivy, you may copy that spell. The copy targets Ivy, which is actually pretty darn good, especially if you're up against like Boros Auras or something, right? So other ways to give Toxic to our creatures, we have a couple Aspirant's Ascent, 1-mana instant speed. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+3 and gains flying and Toxic 1. Okay, some card draw packed in with Distorted Curiosity and more creatures packed in with all 4 Silent Hallcreepers. That's a 2-mana 1/1, can't be blocked. When it deals combat damage to a player, choose one that hasn't been chosen. You can put a couple +1/+1 counters on it, which is pretty good. You can draw a card, which is pretty good. Or Silent Hallcreeper becomes the copy of a target creature you control. So you don't want to copy your legendary creatures, of course. It works well with each other because you can copy another Hallcreeper to get those other abilities back again. Or, more importantly, you can copy Rotpriest, which of course would be very, very powerful. All right, the mana base, Sanctum, all 4 coast. We have a shack in here, and we're leaning a little bit forest because that's what the deck is leaning towards. So something important to note is Mirrex did not make the cut. I actually think Mirrex is going to hold us up more often than not. This is the type of deck list where you're going to want to hold open protection spell every single turn if you can, and Mirrex only mana fixes you for 1 turn, and then also with only 19 lands packed in, I don't think there's going to be many games where we get late enough to actually activate the Mirrex ability. So, but it's very important, honorable mention for a very good reason. Actually considered Primal Might too, not this time round. Other protection spells like Royal Treatment and Shore Up. So again, these are great 1-mana protection spells. They don't give indestructible, and that's kind of like I said with Dive Down. This also doesn't give indestructible, but the +3 to the toughness I'm hoping really comes in handy. So Enter the Enigma almost made the cut, and Audacity could have been a neat one in here too. Okay, guys, hopefully I went over the deck list well enough. Either way, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's take it into some ranked and see how we do. All right, right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? I think that if we played this 6 months ago, I'd be expecting a lot. No, oh, wow. First of all, this first hand is terrific. Opponent goes first, unfortunately, but I'm keeping this. Anyways, it should be fine. Should be fine enough. Interland Sanctifier. All right, well, the life gain isn't going to save you, buddy. Let's get the ankle biter down. It could be bunny rabbits. Bunny rabbits would be much scarier than life gain. It's a healer's hawk. All right, life gain versus toxic. It's actually pretty brutal, but we'll see. Brutal for the opponent, but we'll see how much removal and stuff they actually have packed in too. They got good trades here too, though, so I might wait till turn 3 since we have our 3rd mana. Maybe we set up with Ivy. We could keep... Yeah, we're going to keep Ankle Biter back. We're going to just set up with Ivy because we don't really mind if removal targets the Ivy. Wait for our 3rd mana so we have protection open once the Fangbearer actually lands. Essence Channeler. Now that's a scary one. But we should be able to remove it easy enough. Alright, we'll take the 1. The problem is once we remove the Channeler, they plug those... So when it dies, it puts its counters on target creature you control, right? So that's a problem. Probably let the Ankle Biter through, but then the Poison Ball will get rolling. But we do have the protection in hand. So we'll get this going. I think we'll be okay for a couple turns. I'm thinking we keep the Spellthief back. Maybe I should have actually traded. No, I'll swing just in case. No, I'll keep it back. Okay, yeah, we got a full lean into the toxic side of things, right? Or the poison side of things. Okay, so they do take it. We got the Poison Ball rolling. We have terrific protection for our creatures here. And yeah, we don't want to... Like, the hard-hitting question is very tempting. But it'll be a similar concept depending on what they do with this Channeler anyways. So, I might be overthinking it a little bit here. Okay, so, right. So they are anticipating a trade, right? So I guess Tyvar's stand is better than the dive down because there's a chance that they have instant speed life gain. So we'll go Tyvar's stand. Indestructible to both our creatures, and it's probably Sanctifier over the Healer's Hawk. That's a tough one too, but yeah, probably Sanctifier. All right, 2 blockers. They got a Dawn's Truth. Permanents you control gain hexproof until end of turn. If a gift was promised, permanents you control gain indestructible until end of the turn. Did they gift me a card? Well, either way, they're tapped out now. So on the stack, we'll go X is 0 to Fynn, and then copy that for Ivy. Take action. All right. The opponent and I did the exact same thing, but they gave us some card draw, which is excellent. They do have a Healer's Hawk back here. All right, we can get the island down safely. Restore to Curiosity. We probably want to try to get... This is a problem, dude. The Essence Channeler is a problem. We go hard-hitting question. They plug all those counters onto a Healing Hawk all of a sudden, right? I want to get the... I guess we go for the swing. We'll keep the Ivy back as a blocker. We'll see if they attempt the trade here. I mean, we have 4 open mana, so... Okay, they do attempt the trade. This is probably worthwhile, right? Keeping the Ankle Biter on the board. We might as well take that action, right? Too bad we don't have a Rotpriest on this board, huh? So 4 poison. All right. let's go ahead. Draw on the Distorted Curiosity. Silent Hallcreeper's not bad. Is it time? Is it time to take out the Channeler? Or do we just chump it? I guess we could do the same thing, chump the Healer's Hawk. Silent Hallcreeper. I guess we'll do this, right? I guess we'll take out the Channeler. 5 +1/+1 counters onto the Healer's Hawk is terrifying, but at the very least we have a chump with the Ivy, which isn't doing too much on this board state right now anyways. We could also just take the 6. I guess I'll try the trade into Sanctifier again, just take the 6 down to 12. But I hope that's okay, because that puts us on a clock. It's going to be an Elspeth Smite, actually, so the best thing we could have done was actually go for the chump, but it's an Elspeth Smite out of their hand that's not hitting our Fynn, which is kind of important. Okay, Combat Research. We'll start with that. It's still being held open here, guys. All right, nice. We got Ward 1 on there now. All right, let's go for it. See what happens. They both land, guys. Wow. All right, we get some card draw here. That's 8 poison for the opponent. It's just land. Ew. Okay. Silent Hallcreeper is the only thing we have. We needed even more protection in hand. But I think that we're forcing the opponent to keep a blocker back. But they're probably still going to swing with the Healer's Hawk because we are on that clock. Which is 110% my fault for not chumping the Healer's Hawk. So 1 turn remaining, guys. They have 1 card in hand. GG opponent. All right. I think I was overthinking a lot of that game. I think so. Hard-hitting question earlier. Well, I think the earlier turns we wouldn't have been able to keep open the protection, right? So I think it was still worthwhile keeping that protection open. The Dawn's Truth was surprising. If the opponent didn't have the Dawn's Truth, then our blocks would have been pretty devastating that turn, right? And then we would have been able to use the hard-hitting question elsewhere as well. Yeah, it's a little unlucky for them to go up against a toxic build because they had so much life gain, but we just don't care. We don't care about their life total at all. So yeah, so a little lucky for us then. But it was really close though. All right, we'll see if we can get into the next one and see if we can keep the ball rolling too. Opponent, what you bringing to the table? More life gain? Opponent, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I want to see the Hallcreeper do a thing today too. So I mean, I don't mind this hand. Opponent goes first. We could maybe try to find something faster, but it's nice to see a lot of creatures because we don't have a lot of creatures packed in. All right, we'll give this a shot. Llanowar Elves. Gasp. They get to keep their ramp around for the turn, so hopefully it's not too bad here. Oh, Golgari. Oh, Sunslayer. Well, the good news is hard-hitting question deals with that easy peasy. The bad news is that means I don't get to play another creature for the turn, and I'm sad about it. But we don't want to play like Hallcreeper, because then Glissa gets through, and then they just pop an enchantment, which this happens to be. So we just Ankle Biter the Glissa. I don't think we go for the Ascent, but I will go for the Swing. Unless there was a chance of trading into the Elves, but I'm pretty sure the Elves is just going to be more ramp for their turn 3 here. It's going to be a Dread Knight. Oh, crap. Maybe there was a chance of trading into the Elf. No, there wasn't. Okay. A Soulstone Sanctuary. All right. Hard-hitting question. We don't have to deal with the Dread Knight like we had to deal with the Sunslayer, so we can establish the Ivy. Should probably be okay. They actually like the trade here, I would say, too. So I'm going to hold back for now. Yeah, they don't mind going Dread Knight into the Ankle Biter because then they just do the whole adventure side nonsense all over again. Go for the swing and we take that. Looks like Ivy is out of the equation. Scavenging Ooze. Ivy might be sticking around. Ivy's on this board still. Don't have any protection in hand though, so more mana isn't bad. Taking care of Scavenging Ooze could be good with the hard-hitting question. We want to keep these for their big things too, though, when it comes time. So maybe we start with the Ascent. We try to push some extra Toxic through. We're not doing anything else. And we still have 2 open mana, so maybe they expect some protection in hand. It would be nice if we had some, but... Okay. Okay. And then it'll probably be Hallcreeper after the swing. Yeah, we'll get the Toxic Ball rolling, which is good news. Alright, we'll see what the opponent does next turn. They didn't utilize their Land of War Elves yet, so expecting go for the throw or cut down. It's gonna just be Ooze with the Elves and no cut down. Alright. It's great news. Also, if we can't get there Toxic-wise, a couple Hallcreepers with extra +1/+1 counters could really go a long way. It depends how much damage they end up start pushing through, because they do have a lot of damage on the board. That's why it is nice seeing all these extra hard-hitting questions. Yeah, I guess we'll take this. We'll probably need to clean up that Ooze if they don't play a bigger creature here. They will have enough mana next turn to power up Cottage. A Shieldred, alright. Maybe we take out both of those things. Woo! Rotpriest, alright. Oh crap, we don't have enough green sources on the board. Well, first of all, that doesn't matter, right? We should still get Rotpriest down. Go down to 7 for hard-hitting question, right? And get rid of Shieldred and then have Chump Blocker for Ooze, maybe? That's probably okay, I think. And then what we can do here is we can Hallcreeper copy Rotpriest. I don't know. We might want to save Ivy as an emergency blocker because they could easily find removal. Alright. Hallcreeper becomes a copy. Even though the card draw on it, I don't know if we're going to have enough turns to go through all those layers, right? And then Ankle Biter into Shieldred. Going down to 7. 2 more poison. It's too bad this one island isn't protection spell in hand, because a protection spell would be so good here, guys. Or if this one island was another green, then we'd be able to pull off another hard-hitting question, which would actually be incredible. With the double Rotpriest on the board and everything. And like cleaning up that Ooze. But what it's looking like is it's looking like we're going to have to trade Ankle Biter into Ooze. And then we're hoping that they don't drop too much spot removal on these Rotpriest. Archfiend of the Dross. All right. Right. So now, if we chump Ooze, so we have no way to clean up Archfiend successfully without keeping Ankle Biter on board for the hard-hitting question. However, still have the chump with the Ivy, I suppose. Take 3 down to 4. I think we're in danger either way. So we'll go for the block this turn instead of the chump this turn. Oh, we take another 2 from the Archfiend. That's right. That's right. Crap. So when we chump with the Ivy now. Oh, crap. So we have to win next turn, right? Oh, I guess they could have a cut down to end this too. But they didn't have cut down earlier, as far as I know. It's Anoint with Affliction, and they targeted the correct one, because if they targeted... oh, Anoint Exiles. We're alive still. Yeah, if they targeted a Rotpriest, we would have copied it to target the Ivy too for an extra 2. So technically... Wow. Guys, Ankle Biter off the top is a crazy draw. Holy cow. Down to 1. Rotpriest gives another 2. Then we swing with both of our toxic creatures. GG opponent. What a top deck, man. That was perfect. You know, it could have also been Fynn. We have 4 Fynn in here too that we didn't see that game. Any Deathtouch creature off the top. That really worked out. First of all, the triple hard hit in question was essential this game. The copy of the Rotpriest with the Hallcreeper, you just can't ask for a better match, can you? We got a little lucky that the opponent didn't find more early removal, and that Anoint with Affliction actually doesn't pair that well with Archfiend. They play the Anoint because the Exile is important for all the Heartfire hero nonsense and whatnot. But luckily, that just means it doesn't count as dying. So we didn't actually lose the 2 life. If it was a cut down, we would have died on the previous turn. That's crazy, man. That was good stuff. Again, kind of felt like we got a little lucky, right? So I don't know. We'll see if we can keep the ball rolling. Those are good games, though. Opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? All right. Ooh, Rotpriest in our opener. That's something you like to see. Protection spell. Yes. Yes, we keep this. Hello, opponent. We don't get too many hellos. Goblin Tomb Raider. All right. I hope Rotpriest doesn't get burnt away right away, but I think it's worthwhile trying. Against goblins, I don't know if they run too much burn. Oh. That's an island. That's a pirate. This isn't goblins, it's pirates. Ah. Okay, we got the shack here. We'll wait on the shack. Fangbearer. They don't know what's in hand. We can start with the swing. We do have hard hitting question if we want to, if they block, but that's probably not the greatest, right? Getting Ivy down first. Let's see what they do here. Because I don't plan on blocking on our turn, because pirates probably run Monstrous Rage style abilities. They do risk the block. I mean, it's a 1 mana card for a 1 mana card, so essentially they called our bluff. Fynn or Ivy, and it's probably Ivy while we have the Rotpriest on the board established, right? Either way, whichever creature we choose, we want to think about our third turn potentially having an open dive down with the other creature. So we're opting for protection for Fynn the Fangbearer then over the Ivy. But Ivy's also better to establish early with the Rotpriest too, so like there's a couple layers there, I guess. Also, Fynn on board is better for the hard-hitting question in hand, so that's something to consider too. All right, they got Torch the Tower, which would not have hit the Fynn because they didn't have a bargain. Second spell, now they have the bargain with the clue and the map, right? So they actually would have had it for the Fynn then because they would have went Spyglass Siren first, then they could have bargained it for the Fynn. But yeah, that's what the dive down's going to be for. Except the shack is still going to come out tapped here because they're... Okay, there they go. They do swing with the other 2/2. Wait, that only puts us at 14. Well, that's close. It's close enough. Can it come out like half untapped, maybe? Right, so we'll get the shack down. There's nothing else in hand right now. Hard hit in question could hit the Siren, then we could get a swing. That's an extra couple poison, then we can keep the dive down open and Tyvar stand open. But establishing Fynn seems a little bit better. A lot to think about here, guys. There really is. So they probably... Let's just go for the swing and think about the Fynn for the turn, especially since we have 2 Fynn in hand. This time they just end up taking it, so we didn't need to waste our hard-hitting question, which is very important. At that point, I think I will just risk the Fynn. And I hope that's okay. Now, I don't think I would do that if I didn't have the second Fynn in hand already. And I think Fynn would be the target over the Rotpriest, which potentially might just be a mistake, right? Because, well, they don't know it's in our hand, but we have a lot of ways to target our creatures. At that point, too, more Rotpriests off the top would be a glorious. Spyglass. All right, here comes the clue again, right? These pirates are going wide. Breaches. Oh, crap, dude. Oh, crap. They gonna swing with triple pirates? They do. All 3 abilities. Right? That's what this does. Control. Pirate, you control attacks. Choose one that hasn't been chosen yet. So, Fynn can't block. And create a treasure token. And they can play the top card. If it's a 1 mana card, they're good to go with the treasure. It's not. It's Staunch Crewmate. Dude, you gotta just appreciate that the opponent's playing pirates. It's awesome. Okay, combat research. We're at 3 mana. We have to survive next turn. That's important. Because they have 4 in the air. Haha, so we're gonna have to block somewhere. Dive down and Tyvar stand probably really coming in handy. I'd love to get a swing though, but maybe we can get a swing. If we start with combat research, maybe, well, we're gonna be forced to block somewhere. We'll block the breaches. Oh, crap, guys, breaches will take one of these out of the equation. So, yeah, never mind. We're not swinging. We got to go hard-hitting question. Well, then we can swing because breaches won't be on the board. But what if they play breaches number 2? Well, I don't know. Either way, we want to keep the protection spells open, which has hexproof, guys. That also can protect against the target. Target creature can't block this turn. Okay. So this is one of those instances. Again, I'm kind of like overthinking this match. They got 8 on the board. I'm going to risk it. We're going to do it. Especially since I don't really mind losing to pirates. If they find a cool way through next turn to get around a ground blocker or whatever it might be, that's totally fine. They do go for the chump here, actually. And that is okay. That's 1 less that's hitting our face, too. We'll see what these protection spells can actually do for us. I'd say that was, even though it's 1 less hitting our face, that was still a worthwhile block because they were going to get 2 more poison and we were going to draw. Okay, Goblin Tomb Raider. They got 7 on the board. I can imagine this is a full swing. 3 in the air. They drop an oops. I am not 100% certain what the oopsie-daisies is for, but I will attempt to block on the Tomb Raider. Alright. I think I am fearing something on the stack here, but I'm going to go for the dive down over the Tyvar stand. Extra poison. Yeah, they got 1 card remaining. It's a 1/5 Rotpriest now. Down to 4. If they don't have a blocker, maybe that's what the oops was for, because we have so much toxic on the board. Or so much poison. But we don't have enough to get 5 through. We have 3 on the board. We could draw into it on the combat research, I guess, right? They find maybe a 1 mana chump blocker. It's a lot we could draw into. Worst thing we could draw is land. Dive down. All right, that should do it, right? We'll start with the swing. Okay. Okay. Nothing from the opponent. No attempted removal. We'll draw on the combat research here too. That's 8 poison. I mean, it's still being held open. Just more protection is terrific, isn't it? Because now on the stack, if they do try to remove something, but it doesn't matter because we already had double protection, but it would have had to been something incredibly fancy. But guys, they do have this treasure over here too, so... So I guess, honestly, the triple protection spells, if they did have 2 things to do, then the triple protection spells was really good. All right, guys, finally back up to platinum. Oh my goodness, bro. Standard's been rough. The only time I've been playing was while recording, though, too, so... And some test games, of course, but... Guys, 100% win rate so far. I'm definitely overthinking some of these plays, right? Right? It's working out, though, so maybe I shouldn't stop. All right. Dude. Let's keep the ball rolling. We're 30 minutes in. While I have you here towards the end of the video, make sure you check out that description where we have the Discord link, as well as the Patreon link, too, if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And then also, guys... For the YouTube nonsense, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. All right, we go first. The deck list has been doing everything it's needed to do to a surprising extent, right? So we'll keep a risky hand here, I would say. And it's risky because none of our actual strategies are here. We're going to just have to push damage with evasion, which might be okay. Okay, hard-hitting question. That should come in handy. I'm hoping... Yeah, Hallcreeper. Let's see if Hallcreeper sticks around for the turn. I'd rather the Ivy die, which is why I considered Ivy for the turn, because our turn 3 is looking like an open protection spell with Dive Down. It is going to be an Anoint with Affliction, unfortunately, but that's okay. I took the risk to try to establish it. Uh-oh, guys, we won't have an open blue. So that wouldn't have worked anyways, waiting for the Hallcreeper. Well, we'll see if Ivy sticks around. The problem is I don't think it's going to, but also we can't just sit here and wait, right? Right? Against Golgari? Okay, they scry. Looks like Ivy might stick around, and also they want to play around protection spells now too. Now that they know we're rocking an Ivy list with an open green source. Sheoldred's Edict. Well, they played around it. Dive down. All right. How many turns do you guys think we have here? Because Archfiend can come down on their turn 4 and start the clock. Duress. Don't make fun of my hand, opponent. Don't look. What do they grab here? Looks like they're looking at the hard-hitting question. You can hit Planeswalkers, so if they got like Liliana in hand, that would be a good grab. They decide on a Dive Down, so that way once we do find a creature, we have 1 less protection spell. Mosswood Dread Knight. Okay. Oh, we do find a creature too. Wow. Fynn off the top is terrific news. Fynn off the top last turn would have been even better news. Game. Nah, there's not that many creatures packed in, which is why we have so many protection spells for them. Well, Mosswood Dread Knight. Yeah, get as many blockers down as possible. Okay, Ivy. Right, so Infectious Bite starts the Toxic Ball. Could double down on removal on the Slasher when it has the stun counters on it for next turn, maybe. We want to keep the Dive Down around, probably. I think we do this. Maybe we do it on their turn. Oh, hold on, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. Hard-hitting question is sorcery speed. Dive down's instant. We probably want to keep the dive down for the Fynn, just based on what we're up against, right? And then we keep Infectious Bite open too, but they know we have Infectious Bite open. Do we do it now or on their turn? I guess their turn might work a little better. We just don't know. They're not running blue. If they were running blue, I would do it all on my turn. But there's a chance where we actually want to hit something different, like a Shieldred or something, but I don't think so. And they wouldn't play it before combat, and we'd want to hit the slasher before it hits our face. But they don't know what the Ivy is, so they don't know if we're keeping open something else too. It's a tough decision, man. Like I said though, if they had blue, we would have just done it all on our turn while they were tapped out. All right. We'll take out the slasher then. You know what? If the dive down was actually a 1 mana card that could give indestructible, then that would have been the play probably. Okay, it's another unstoppable slasher. Okay. That's a problem. Yeah, we're gonna have to do these hard-hitting questions, huh? Okay, they go for a draw on Dread Knight. Ankle Biter. That's good. That's great news, right? These slashers are a problem, though. Okay, they don't know it's in hand. Yeah, more creatures is great, but I don't know exactly how we're getting around all this. Hard-hitting question, sorcery. I know one thing, we want to hit the other slasher. But then if we swing, they definitely block. We have the dive down, but then we don't have more protection in hand. So now we just establish Ankle Biter. And if we had one more mana, we'd go for the hard-hitting question on one of the slashers to permanently get rid of it. This is a pain in the butt, dude. Getting rid of these slashers. Yeah, we can't swing into the Dread Knight because they block no matter what because they know it's in hand. Well, almost everything that's in hand. But either way, they would love to see the dive down out of the hand on a tapped board state. Because it would just be more spot removal from them then. Speaking of more spot removal, more Shieldred's Edicts or Liliana gets around it anyway, so. There's the Dread Knight number 2. Dread Knight number 3. Okay, blockers for days. Oh my goodness. Right. So 1 Restless Cottage open. They decide no swings. Need something good here, man. A land, but it's a tapped land, so we still can't do everything in our hand. I'd love to establish the Ivy. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of blockers, man. Let's stop one of the slashers permanently, and go from there, I guess. This is pretty bad, though. It's pretty bad. We could get Ivy down and just skip the dive down because they only got 2 cards remaining. But I'm pretty sure they're still playing around this dive down. So I guess it's still better just to keep that open then. I don't know, man. Tough. Very tough. It's too bad that wasn't an untapped source, so we could have gotten Ivy down too. There's just too much value over on the opponent's board state. Uh-oh, Deep Cavern Bat. Uh-oh, guys. All right. They grabbed the dive down, I guess, because Ivy's just chilling. And then let's see if they did end up having the spot removal like we were anticipating. Now's the time to do it. They know it's in hand. Or I guess, if they're not afraid... No, now's the time to do the spot removal. Archfiend of the Dross. Bro. Alright. Crap. You know what? I'm just going to take the 9. Let's see what we draw into. Another Fynn! All right, so there's a chance that they chump with Deep Cavern Bat. Let's get some poison through. We'll see what they do, because I think they keep the Archfiend around. I think we might actually get this poison through. Not bad. All right. Well, Ivy blocks in the air, but that doesn't matter. A Slasher will get through on the ground. Mosswood Dreadnought on the ground too. And we'll let the opponent play this out because they got lethal on the board state right now. Oh. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They have too much. They had a Noit with Affliction anyways to exile the Ivy. Anyways, guys, we could have played the other Fynn. Just a habit to not play legendaries when legendaries are on the board, but we could have played Fynn, selected the untapped one, so that way we could have actually blocked with it too, but yeah, no. All right, guys, 75% win rate. That's getting a bit closer to where I'm expecting it, right? We're going to push it a little over time. We're 41 minutes in. I'm having a good time. We're going to go one more, and I can't say that we're going to end on a high note because I actually think it's more likely that we'll lose. But that's not going to stop me from trying. All right, opponent, what you bringing to the table, buddy? Heck yeah, Rotpriest in the opener. That's what you like to see. But we probably start with Ankle Biter, though. No protection spells in hand either. Nah, I'll risk it. I'll risk it. Why not? Why not? I like risky plays. It's a Fabled Passage. Huzzah, the risk paid off. Right, so combat research. Draw a card, see what we see. Doesn't have to be a legendary. We don't have protection in hand anyways, so we'll probably still just end up tapping out for the turn. But we could draw into protection, which would be pretty good. It's another Ankle Biter. We'll get that down. Yeah, Rotpriest has the biggest target on its back, especially with the combat research out there. But we did get the Toxic Ball rolling. Anoint with Affliction. 3 Toxic now. Okay. Infectious Bite is not bad, guys. It really isn't, but there's no creatures for us to clean up yet. Yeah, both of our Bite spells in hand have been absolutely terrific today. Yeah, we're not even worried about that. We'll do it. We'll get rid of it right now on their turn. All right, Fynn off the top. No, it is not Fynn off the top, but boy, that would have been something else, huh? Hard-hitting question, sorcery speed might be holding it up here a little bit. Let's see that Archfiend. Golgari making an appearance recently, huh? Liliana. Oh.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come.
I guess we'll have to waste a hard-hitting question on Liliana. Wow, they actually let us keep both of the Ankle Biters. But now we only have one hard-hitting question anyways, so it's a bit of a similar concept. Llanowar Elves. Mana. Aw, man. Ah, jeez. Well, you probably trade into one of those. But we don't necessarily... I'm going to keep the... No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I mean, we don't... No matter what, Liliana has to die. No matter what, right? Guys... Guys, Deathtouch doesn't affect Planeswalker. Dude. Alright, yeah, they block. They have the -2 on Liliana next turn. Okay, well, the good news is... this is leaning towards the opponent after the 5th mana that we drew off the top. Oh, they go plus. They want to actually keep the Liliana around for the turn. This actually isn't terrible news. Fynn! You're a turn late, Fynn. No, 2 turns late, actually, but still. Holy cow, what a draw. Okay, so a few things, guys, few things. We could have kept both Ankle Biters on the board. If we would have went hard-hitting question onto the Llanowar Elves, then swung both Biters at the Liliana. But I've only played Magic once before, so obviously I didn't know what was going on. All right, so Ankle Biter is the sacrifice. We take 2 here. And a good top deck could be... actually, Dive Down isn't that great because Archfiend blocks so well. Well, they don't know what's in hand. Mistakes were made, guys. Many mistakes were made in this match. They do go for the block. Dive Down does not protect us from a 6/6, unfortunately. We go down to 14. We could have saved it back. It's not worth it at this point, unfortunately, guys. Oh, my goodness. Right, so another Archfiend. Scavenging Ooze. Yep. Guys, there was actually a chance. I think we want to, for now, I think we want to completely blame this one on me. We could have, I mean, the draws weren't the greatest, and we could have mulliganed as well. The mulligan wasn't worth it, though. We had a pretty good hand with the Rotpriest. Anyways, guys, Deathtouch, any amount of damage a source with Deathtouch deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. I've definitely known that before, and it just wasn't clicking that time round. But what could have potentially happened then, guys, with both Ankle Biters on the board is we potentially would have had enough Deathtouch creatures on the board to slip on by to the opponent's face. But with the Archfiend play, there was actually no guarantee. Good game, opponent. Wow, these Golgari matches, though, are pretty tough. They got a lot of value. Let them, oh, I was going to let them have the fun swing, but I guess that's pretty fun too, right? Passing with the Unholy Annex. Darn. You know what? I'm pretty satisfied with how this deck list has performed, guys. I could have performed a little bit better, and there were definitely moments where it confused me a little bit, right? Toxic Fangs. Here's the deck list again. Watch out for that Deathtouch, man. It doesn't hit Planeswalkers. I can't believe I did that, dude. And then I sat there for a second looking at the Liliana like, why didn't that go to the graveyard? Oh, that's silly. Okay, well, here's the deck list, guys. I'm satisfied. I would put it on the do not craft list, though. Put it on the craft a little bit less list, right? Ivy really just was not doing the thing today at all. And sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. I think a one of might actually be more worth it. And then you just want to go up more protection spells because there's just way too much spot removal. But that being said, the bite spells were very valuable today. The hard-hitting question in Infectious Bite was just terrific. So maybe go up that too. Combat Research was kind of decent too. Extra card draw. And our card draw is looking like Combat Research, Hallcreeper, and Distorted Curiosity. There's our bite spells. There's our card draw, right? And then our protection spells are Tyvar, Stand, and Dive Down. And Dive Down, I think there's going to be more scenarios where the +3 to the toughness actually comes in handy, and we just weren't seeing those scenarios today. I think if we kept playing, I think we'd find some of those scenarios. But today, maybe a Shore Up would have been a little bit better, right? Being able to untap a tapped Deathtouch creature and being able to trade into something that way. Definitely something to consider. Maybe just having, like the, I do not know the name of it. Hexproof. Royal Treatment, right? Maybe something more valuable like a Royal Treatment, which actually leaves the Royal Roll on the board for the extra ward. Maybe that is something to consider. That might be a little bit better. If you do opt for a treatment or something, keep an eye on the mana base. Dive Down is blue. If you drop 4 blue and go up 4 green, you might need to rearrange the mana base a little bit. Speaking of the mana base, guys, 19 land felt perfect, actually. I think it was pretty good. Yeah. And in those matches today, the only game that a Mirex would have come in handy was the last one where we were flooding a little bit. How much mana did we end up with by the end of the game? 6 mana or so? It wasn't that big of a flood, but it was definitely a lot of mana for only having 19 in here. All right. Anyways, sometimes Aspirant's Ascent is a kind of sort of a protection spell against burn and whatnot. So that is some. I guess we could put it here, but also it helps us get the extra toxic through as well. Extra toxic on Rotpriest, of course. All these cards target the hard-hitting question, Infectious Bite, Ascent, Dive Down, Tyvar Stand. All those cards target combat research targets. Oh, Horrid Vigor is also one of our protection spells too. And then when we arrange it like that, then here's our creatures. We'll put Hallcreeper back over here. Yeah, not a lot of creatures, so it's essential to be able to protect him. Fynn has a 4 of, guys. Who cares that it's legendary, right? You don't want 3 of these. You want 4 of these. The deck list is very much trying to do this. And in a deck list like this too, you're not just treating him as, well, this is what you're treating him as. You're treating him as a 2 mana, 1/3, Deathtouch, Toxic 2. That's what you're treating him as in a deck list like this. Now, he doesn't literally have Toxic 2, but that's essentially what it is. But then also he gives your other Deathtouch creatures Toxic as well, like the Ankle Biter too. It's really interesting. Really, actually, the deck list does it all, doesn't it? And we have a little bit of everything packed in, and it. I suppose that's why we were able to get those 3 victories in a row, and why potentially, if I didn't mess up so bad in that last game, maybe we could have gotten through there too. That's one to actually go back and watch and see, like, okay, right there, if I would have hit the Llanowar Elves, then they played this and we had that, because we also didn't know what else was left in the opponent's hand too. So there's a possibility that they played it out a little bit differently. We didn't know if they had a cut down, right? I don't know how many cards were actually in their hand, so that's why we would go back and rewatch. It was probably still leaning towards the opponent, but there's maybe a small chance of getting through there, especially once we saw the Fynn. That's pretty wild stuff. Yeah, multiple Fynn you're not scared to have in hand because the opponent's trying to remove it anyways, and so there's a chance that you're going to miss your protection spells. Hold on, guys. I don't like how I arranged that. The average cost in here is 1.5, which is why the 19 land works pretty well. And then also Distorted Curiosity, you're hoping, is a 1 mana card as well. Some even more card draw wouldn't be bad. I could potentially see dropping a couple Hallcreepers for a couple more Distorted Curiosities. I don't know about that, though. Oh, but that leads me back to the craft a little bit less, right? Hallcreeper is rare. So maybe you only have a couple Hallcreepers. Well, you don't have to craft the other 2. You could do what I just said and just go up a couple more Distorted Curiosities, which is only an uncommon instead, right? And that's a similar concept with the Ivy. If you only have 1 Ivy, just play with the 1 Ivy and go up something else. Or if you don't have any Ivy, I think we could probably look for a different creature to plug in instead. I don't think there's that many other great Deathtouch options, though. Let me see here. I'll go to Not Collected too. Teething Wormlet does not have Deathtouch unless you have 3 or more artifacts on the board. Other words, hey, that would be another 1 mana Deathtouch creature that we would add. Yeah, when you're looking at the 2 mana Deathtouch creatures like Poison Dart Frog, you need to pay 2 to give Deathtouch to. Like, what on earth? What's this? What's this guy? 2 mana, 2/2 Deathtouch. When it attacks, another target creature you control gains Deathtouch until end of turn. And you know what, guys? That's a good budget trade out right there. I don't mind that at all, because then you could give Deathtouch to like a Rotpriest. That actually seems pretty good if you have Fynn on the board. It's a lot of setup, but yeah, if you don't have Ivy, there's your trade out right there. A Flesh Burrower, which is terrifying. Oh my goodness. The name and the artwork. That Duskmourn did its job, didn't it? Other than that, can you guys think of any other Deathtouch cards that could have been decent in here? And then there's other toxic cards too. Other toxic cards, Bloated Contaminators, probably a little bit too expensive for this deck list, and that's another rare. And we were trying to talk about budget trade outs just in case you don't have these, because yeah, at that point, I don't think Gleeful Spellthief would actually be worth the craft, right? As a rare for here. Like, it'll do the thing when you see it, but sometimes it just doesn't do anything too. So honestly, I'm thinking about that other Deathtouch card anyways, even if we're not doing a budget trade out. Just thinking about it for the deck list in general. So that's something. Rotpriest is pretty essential for a deck list like this, though. But if you're looking at building a toxic deck, then you might already have the Rotpriests around. All right, guys, enough rambling, huh? If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. My goodness, you guys made it through that Liliana misplay in that last game. Holy cow, thank you for being here, for real. Okay, hey, I will see you in the next video.